Joseph Ntonga YouTube channel from Jaram Science Academy. Last time we were looking at particulate nature of matter, and we looked at the classification of matter, that matter is classified as a solid, liquid, and gas. Okay. Now, before we go to the topic of our study, which is the changes of state, we want to look at the nature of solid, liquid, and gas in terms of arrangement of particles. Now let us look at solid. When you look at a solid, you find that the particles are closely packed and they are regularly arranged, as seen in this diagram. Okay, so that you can see these ones here are the small particles in a solid, and they have regular arrangement. You can even they are columns and rows in the way in which the particles are arranged. So there is no space in between the particles. Okay. Then in terms of movement of particles, they are confined to vibration at fixed position. Then we have the liquid. In the liquid, you can see therefore that the particles are not regularly arranged and they are close to each other, but not as close as in the solid. Okay. Then the particles are able to flow, to change direction, to move from this position to another position. That's why liquids are able to flow, because the particles are able to change their position. Then we come to gas. You can see there the particles are even arranged further apart than in the liquid and the solid there, and the particles also in a gas in random motion. They are moving at some greater speed and changing position all the time, and moving in all directions. So those are the particles in the arrangement of the particles in solid, liquid, gas, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now we come to the topic that we want to look at. We are looking at the changes of state. Now, when we talk of changes of state, we are looking at an aspect where these states of matter can change from one form to another. And the way these changes are physical changes. They are not chemical changes, they are physical changes. And normally these changes are brought about by change in temperature. Change in temperature. Okay. Now, for example, how does a solid change to a liquid? Okay. How does a solid change to a liquid? A solid can change to a liquid if you increase the temperature of the solid. For example, if you look at a solid such as ice, which is solid water, and water as a liquid is solid at 0 degrees Celsius. In actual fact, at 0 degrees Celsius, water exists both as a solid and a liquid. Okay, so at 0 degrees Celsius, water is a solid, and we call it ice. And if you increase this water, this solid or ice, you remove it from the fridge, you come to room temperature, which is about 25 degrees Celsius. Then this ice will change to liquid. Okay. Why has it changed? It's because you have increased the temperature of that solid. You have gone to 25 degrees Celsius. At room temperature, water is a liquid. And this process, whereby a solid changes to liquid, the physical change there is what we call melting. Is what we call melting. So that is the physical change. And then the reverse process, that one, which can be done by cooling the liquid, okay, then this liquid will change back to solid. For example, if you put water in the fridge and the temperature reaches 0 degrees Celsius, it will change to solid. Then that change of state is known as freezing. Okay, so here it's melting. And the backward, the reverse is freezing. Okay, so that is the change of state. Then another change of state is where the liquid, for example, water, changes to water vapor. For example, if you increase temperature, you know that the boiling point of water, where it changes to water vapor, is 100 degrees Celsius, close to 100 degrees Celsius. Then the water changes to vapor form. Okay, so that change of state can be referred to as boiling, or evaporation. Okay, evaporation. And if the water vapor, if the temperature is lowered, you cool down water vapor temperature, then it will change back to liquid, and that change of state will be condensation. Okay, so here it is boiling or evaporation. Boiling, and this one here is condensation. Okay. Now, in this direction here, we have changes of state where a solid can change to gas directly without passing through the physical, without passing through the liquid state. Okay. And this can either be this can occur when the temperature increases, and also it can occur when there is a reduction in temperature. So the process, the change of state here, whereas a solid changes directly to gas and gas directly to solid, is referred to as sublimation. This is the change of state, sublimation. So there is the sublimation on cooling. Sublimation on cooling, this is where a gas can change directly to solid. And then there is the sublimation on heating. This is where a solid changes directly to a gas. So that was our topic on changes of state. Some review questions very quickly, spot questions. Number one, state 3 states of matter. Can you state 3 states of matter? Number 2, can you give examples of changes of state? Can you list down the changes of state? Explain the change of state known as sublimation. Explain the change of state known as sublimation. What is the state of water at 0 degrees Celsius? What is the state of water at 0 degrees Celsius? Thank you very much for your viewership. It's your host, Joseph Mtonga from Jaram Science Academy. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. I want those comments to come through. Thank you very much. Until